My name is Emilio Galeazzi. This is my homework assignment for Dr. Hurst Anthro103 class. The assignment is a video discussion board on 1,000 Suns, a Global Oneness Project film. And these are my answers to the questions that we need to submit a video for. So the first one is describe the general cosmology and spirituality of the people who occupy the Gamma Highlands. How are these beliefs expressed through culture and behavior in these indigenous Africans? How do these beliefs contrast with our industrialized world in the U.S.? In this video, the world is described one of two ways: natural and manufactured, ancient and modern. Traditional agricultural methods of 10,000 years ago are still used today to continue diversity and organic farming in the Gamma Highlands. In a modern world where humans are God-controlling nature, civilians of the Gamma Highlands, our civilization in the Gamma Highlands coexists with the natural world in fragile harmony. The spirituality of a Gamma is to connect the individual with their environment, be one with the soil, air, sky, rain, everything in nature. Nature is not to be exploited, but to coexist, give thanks, creator, and to show that they are friends with the environment, while Western ideas of farming is to be as effective, to effectively produce for maximum output. The second question is, what is a woga? Why do wogas exist? What purpose do they believe they serve? Give examples of different wogas in your answer. Wogas are laws developed over thousands of years to ensure their survival. Local elders serve as custodians, enforcers, and official for each woga. The different wogas are like for blessing plants or the planting, as well as thanks for the harvest. Another one is for animals allowed to graze. The trees to be cut down would be another one. Another one to deal with, to govern relations between individuals within the civilization. The custodians perform rituals to give thanks to the earth for resources it provides that the people are dependent on. If a woga is neglected, the whole system may be at risk. What has been the effect for the Gamma? This is the third question. What has been the effect for the Gamma of having so many Protestant missionary organizations moved into their region? A lot of turmoil was created. When a church was built in every community, no longer desired to coexist. They no longer desired a coexisting presence and sought out to be the highest spiritual authority for the Gamma. Worshipping parts of God is not the Christian way, and began to refute traditional ways and aimed to make traditional leaders feel ashamed, referring to leaders as demonic people, and following tradition as something to go to hell. They even began building churches on sacred landscapes. So obviously that caused a lot of turmoil. Fourth question is, how was the proselytizing of Christianity affected the spiritual beliefs and cultural values of the Gamma people? What principles are being taught potentially will destroy the sustainability, like culturally, agriculturally, economically, spiritually, of the Gamma people. They have greatly disrupted people's religious beliefs, work, and community lives. The idea that God has a presence above nature but is lifted up from earth, and removing God from nature has desacralized the world for the Gamma, and believe that it has been opened up for consumption, abuse, and exploitation. Maximum for the rest of the world is a great concept, or maximization is a concept that's great for the rest of the world but not for them. There's no need to produce more than is absolutely needed. Other people depend on scientific facts, while the Gamma are dependent on nature. Question 5. What was the origin of the Green Revolution in the 1950s and 60s? Technological advances were introduced. China was thought to eventually hit a population bubble, so the industrial world influenced pesticides and fertilizers, and the best answer to feeding the growing numbers was to grow wheat and rice as much as they can. The phrase that I heard a lot was maximize the yield. That was the main idea of the industrial worlds. The second Green Revolution was aimed at helping Africa. The Rockefeller Foundation and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations formed AGRA that sought to bring industrial farming equipment to small-scale farms. Farmers in Africa yet met resistance when they rejected farm equipment as well as farming techniques suitable for flat western farmlands and not African hillside farmland. So that's why it didn't work out well. How do Africans feel about the recent introduction of green revolution technology, such as the Agri Project? What are some of the consequences? Uh, Agro is believed about profits reducing is about profits reduce income for the people. The idea to receive a loan to buy seeds, fertilizer, chemical pesticides go to plants. Uh, Lack control over climatic measures, dry seasons killing crops would ultimately result in farmers forced to sell livestock personals, furnish loans, put deeper into debt. The machine mentality creates perception that the world is machine. Westerners began viewing the world as economic versus ecology, a global casino. The Gamma gives and receives, or gives to receive, in that fragile harmony mentioned earlier. And the last question, nope, seventh, why are resilience and diversity considered to be important principles for coping in agricultural crisis and extinction in nature and in subsistence behaviors and culture in general? Thousands of crops were reduced to two main crops. However, two species of crops are incredibly susceptible to change, pest, disease, outbreaks such as that, due to lack of diversity. If one crop is compromised, both will be destroyed. The Gamma Valley is a huge center for diversity of agricultural species. Those species originated there, evolved into several more species, and they do not grow anywhere else. The Gamma Valley is a vital ecosystem to the world as well as there in the valley. 54 tribes occupy some 300 square miles, and they come together annually to pray for or preserve their cultural heritage. Horns and skids from the livestock are worn, as well as grasses and leaves from their crops during the historical event. Each tribe displaying their own connection with nature, their environment. Every individual has a limit to what they can remove from their crops and livestock. Critical idea of to take what is needed and destroy nothing else that is not. Resources are not to be farmed for the people of today, but to be done so with the intent of leaving able farming land as well as techniques for following generations to continue their traditions. And the final question, what do you think of the three elders in the Gamma might have felt about our culture and our ways of life during their experience in New York City? One elder said that they already have their way of governing their resources and engaging with various aspects of life, and those same aspects might be, or those other, their governing techniques might actually be beneficial to others, not just them. Western civilizations are trying to articulate and understand the people, and another elder, Maz Gazzetto, just wanted to see their wogas and systems intact when they die. Ecology inequality in regions are seeing biodiversity of ecosystems being destroyed, and the link between nature and spirituality must be restored. Their spirituality is key to being the main pillar in connecting ecosystems with the people. The elders must have thought that Western ideas are lost individuals only concerned with what's in front of them, missing that life is about giving in order to receive, taking care of nature, planting seeds, feeding animals to receive crops, meat, milk, skins, essentials for people to survive. And that's that.